Tell Trent Alexander-Arnold come outside. We're local on Saturday.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. As the man said there, people deluded, I'm back again. As you already know, elephant in the room. We've got the shirts on. It's Liverpool Arsenal. I've got my guy Romz, who unfortunately is a Liverpool fan, lives in London. Don't know what he's on. How you doing, my friend? I have to, man.
Man, bro, I'm good. Glad to be back on the channel. Believe my second or third time. But I'm good, man. Both our teams top of the tree. It's gonna be a mad game tomorrow. But yeah, man, I'm ready to chop it up. Thanks
I don't look at the league table, so I don't know where Arsenal are. But if that's what you're saying with Liverpool, fair enough. I haven't seen the league table since August the 1st or when Arsenal are top. So hopefully that is it. But let's jump straight into it, man. Obviously, it's Liverpool Arsenal. What's your thoughts on Liverpool this season up until this point? The good, the bad, the ugly, the strengths, the weaknesses. Let me have it, man. Pause.
So cool. Right, going into this season, I said to myself, because we have a new midfield rebuild, it will be a transitional period. So I thought my prediction was for us to finish about third. If you told me we'll be here by this point in the season, I would have thought you were a madman. So in that regard, we're overachieving by this point. I think every Liverpool fan will agree we're overachieving.
Overachieving.
I think
big Liverpool. Yeah, the one team that obviously City have been winning the wars, but the one team that has won a couple of battles against them, the one team that has claimed the Premier League title, overachieving.
DD, the only reason why I would say a lot of our fans will agree that we're overachieving because we didn't. We know what? There might be a small minority that believe
Premier League legend Mo Salah. Boy,
there might be a small minority, but bro, like. We had a whole midfield rebound. You know, that's the nucleus of the team. That's the engine of the team, bro. We had a full revamp. All that Deadwood, Fabinho, Hendo, Milner, all of them.
Deadwood, you know.
Yeah, he was done, bro. He was done. Some man will disagree, but he was done, bro. For me, he was done personally. But because of the transitional period, I feel we had a good season, but not to be where we are now. So in that respect, I'm happy. But for me, let's say weaknesses is still we need that DM, bro. We still need that DM.
You need
Endo of late been playing well. We've had McAllister playing there, but we all know his better position is that 8 role. You've had Jones slot in there a few times this season, but that DM position is glaringly obvious. And some will say like a multifunctional left centre back that can play left back as well as cover for Robbo. Albeit Tsimikas, I'm not his biggest fan, but he's done very well this season. I've got to give it to him. He's come into the squad and he's done his thing. But overall this season, I was happy with our firing line until of late, because in our last 7 games, it's only been Salah that scored or assisted, bro. And normally when you think about Liverpool, straight away you think, they've got a plethora of attackers.
There's goals all over the team. Yeah.
Exactly. You think goals all over the team. But bro, since I think it's since the Forest game that was on the 29th of October, bro, our attackers ain't really been firing like that. It's only been Mo Salah. Nunes hasn't scored. Diaz, I think Diaz scored one at Luton. He come back and scored late. But other than that, it's mainly been our midfielders and our defenders that have been saving us off recently. So I hope tomorrow they can put that right. I was at the game midweek against West Ham and Gakpo got on the score sheet. Salah got back on the score sheet. So hopefully that confidence is slowly coming through.
Did you say?
Gakpo and Salah. You don't know? I don't see that.
Oh, that's the they said he's Henry, isn't
it? You're being cheeky, but no. Gakpo, you know what I mean? For me, I'll be real, he's been underwhelming this season. When he came in last season, right? No, but I'll say this season, the way he started off, bro, to now, it's been a bit. Most of his goals and better performances have come in the Europa League and the League Cup. Do you know what I mean? In the Premier League, us fan. Yet to be seen, bro. Carl. I weren't really for the signing. I gotta be honest with you.
Why?
Because I watched him a few times. He had a good World Cup campaign. I watched him a few times PSV, but I don't know, man. I know because I know what Klopp's like, right? I knew his attributes. He'll try and kind of makeshift him into this false nine kind of midfield role where on PSV he was more of a wide man. That's where he was most dangerous. And what Klopp tends to do is a lot of his technicians, he'll bring them into the midfield and try and make them industrious, like workhorses. You know what I mean? And I think you've kind of seen that. But then when he's played in that 9 role, and sometimes from wide positions, his better performances, like I said, have come in the cup competition, not really the league, in my opinion. But Gakpo got on a score sheet, Salah, and I just hope they can transmit that into the Arsenal game tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man.
It's that you're right, man. It's a given that regardless of the result, Mr. Mo Salah is going to score. He was nice enough to miss a penalty last year. Hopefully, he remembers, that sort of thing. But yeah, I guess you're all right. Salah has to be what I would rank Salah as a Premier League legend. He's probably the second best
100%.
Egyptian to have kicked a Premier League ball after El Nene and that. He's all
You're
right, man. He's all right, man. I don't know. Better than him still, but what was I going to ask you? You kind of touched on it, yeah. Obviously, when people think of Liverpool, you think of goals all around the squad. Historically, I know Firmino worked clinical, but he was like the glue between Mane and Salah. It was a great front three, really and truly. Why haven't the other guys been hitting it off? Is it something to do with Pep? Is it something to do with Klopp? Is it because of the midfield? Is it something that the players just aren't levels? Why is it Salah's the workman in that regards, or has the workload scoring?
Do you know what it is, bro? It's a bit confusing because the start of the season, our whole front line started well. Jota, you've probably the forgotten man in the rivals' perspective.
Yeah,
He's been out. He started the season well. He owns you lot as well. You know what Jota does when he comes up against
I don't know, man. I don't the Emirates know what's on that. I don't know who Jota is, bro. I don't know.
Jota started the season well. Nunes, I said poor man's not Martinelli. I don't know.
But he's on my guy Martinelli, you know he likes him.
Listen.
Your manager likes him. Trent's going to be stripping.
I'm not speaking on none of your things. I know how the football gods work in it, so I'm trying to be a bit, coy on Arsenal.
Hopefully, Trent's stripping on Saturday, man. But go on.
No, man, we'll probably get into the lineups and that later. But there's a big thing I want to say about Trent, especially about tomorrow's game. But you don't have to add some pauses in, bro. It's mad. But they all started the season well. Nunes got that brace against Newcastle and we were down and out to 10 men. He started the season quite well. Jota started the season well, even Gakpo, and then Diaz, I think Diaz in our front five, actually, I think 2-3 games in, had the most GA. I'm not really a stats man, but he did have the most GA. So for me, of recent, I feel like it's a bit of a complacency issue where we started the season so well, and I feel like some of our attackers know because we have that Mo Salah in our team, they kind of leave the onus on him. Of late, I'm not saying overall in the season, but of late, they've kind of left the onus on him. And even by his standards, I think it's only 2. In the Premier League, I'm speaking alone. I think it's only 2 in like the last 7.
He's letting down my FPL team. He's staying in it for Saturday. Bro, I can't lie, just in case, but he's letting me down still.
Bro, of recent, he's been letting me down as well. But I just feel like of recent, they've been misfiring. We've had a plethora of shots, bro. Most games, I think we averaged 20 plus shots on goal. Most of our games.
I think the United game was the first time you haven't scored in like 25, 26 consecutive games at Anfield. And you had like 20 odd shots. How you did it?
36, bro. 36 shots.
Yeah, even 36. Crazy. That's what I don't know how a ball didn't go in the back of the net. As you said, football gods are crazy. It was just their day, innit?
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you get overconfident and think this and that happen, normally the opposite does. But I just think I think it might be a confidence issue as well because Nunes, look, if man don't know me, I'm one of Nunes' biggest advocates. But the last
were comparing him to certain Haaland in that way.
You know what it is? You know what it is? You get some of the fans that go over the top with it. Like, there's some sensible ones. We know what Haaland is. We know what Nunes is in it. But I know what you mean. After that community show game last season, and he played that.
Arsenal fans, we've definitely been here, so it's nice to mention another team doing it still.
You know what I mean? But listen, that's the beauty of football as well. Like, you get the tribes and you get some people that have the mad takes. But me personally, I went in that camp. But see, Nunes, I've been one of his biggest advocates. But I've had to calm down a bit this season because, bro, this guy will get so many one-on-ones. And you get some fans that say, but we knew this from the jump. But when you have that hope for him, like, nah, second season, we know a lot of foreign imports. The first season, unless you're, I don't know, an Aguero or Suarez, there's a minority that hit the ground running straight away. Your Van Nistelrooy, we've seen in the last 15, 20 years. But there's majority of them, sometimes it takes them a bit to warm in. So his first season, you see him. I'm going to give him his thoughts later on in the stream in it, but bad boy still. But with normally number 9s, right, when they're that foreign players, their first season, some do well. I'll say a smaller pool do well, but the majority of them, it takes some time to warm up. But the things with Nunes, a lot of our fans were on him from last year, I'll be honest. But I said, give him his second season. The second season's come now. He's not scored in what 12, 13 games on the bounce. It's not really looking good for him. So
that's not positive to hear going into
exactly,
Saturday,
bro.
man. Because we no, I say from an Arsenal perspective, because these man these are sort of guys, these Banduli brothers, that somehow managed to score against us. So that definitely is interesting. You said
the only
that.
silver lining for you, bro. The only silver lining for you, bro, is that's past Arsenal teams. I'm gonna give you, man, your respect where it's due. But this Arsenal team here,
we're taking it. Cause what you mean? We see what we do out here. You never walk alone unless you're Trent out there against Martinelli, boys. Boy, hopefully he doesn't go against Zinni, man.
I hope. Listen, like I said, we'll get in probably to the 11s and what you think man will be tomorrow, but I don't want Trent playing that right back position tomorrow, bro. And
Why?
I've got my reasons, but I don't, because listen, recently we've been playing him in this inverted role, and you've seen it of recently. He's been winning games for us, controlling games. Cool, the United game was a bit underwhelming, but I'll rather Joe Gomez, right? A player that a lot of our fans wrote off. Recently, he stepped into that right back role and he's been stellar, bro. He's winning some of his better performances. A lot of us thought he was done out here. Come back in the season, pause, and that right back position, he's been playing well. I think I can't lie, against Rice and your other midfielders, Trent could get overwhelmed, but I'll take them lows for the highs he brings because he can win a game. This is a match-winning player. Like, yes, we know his defensive deficiencies. Quality player. We know his defensive deficiencies, but going forward, bro, I just think, especially in this Arsenal team where I know you lot have been defensively resolute, but if you are attacking and we hit you on the counter, this is a perfect player to probably thread from one of our front three or even in that midfield, bro.
With one pass, yeah.
Exactly. And you know what? One thing I'll say about Raya, because Ramsdale probably won't start, and you'll agree with Raya's long distance. Because I've actually got a brethren that supports Brentford, and I do think Raya's a decent keeper, but he don't really like long shots. If you know, you know, he don't really like long shots.
And you've got Shabozla, and I think the last couple of goals are from outside the area. I said that in a video just before we're here now, saying don't let him do that, bro.
If they can get that ball in them central areas, bro, and just let them off. Right, you know what I mean? Shaky hands there, you know what I mean? He might carry it in the net or something. So
no, Ryan's hurting, man. Alisson's been looking beaky as well, but I can't lie, I have to defend Ryan. No, but it's interesting you said that, yeah, because that's a new dynamic. Obviously I'm not watching Liverpool on a regular basis, and your Joe Gomez comment's quite interesting because obviously Trent would still play. Joe Gomez is more of a traditional sort of fullback. He's more of an industrious one, so that is a bit of a one. But I do think, you know, Klopp, go with Trent. Arsenal, we ain't got no choice. Go with Zinchenko. We know they're quite similar players in the basis of their fullbacks, but their strengths are not described as being defensive. So I think both of them are going to invert. I think both teams can kill each other on the counter. I think both teams can press high. Obviously, I think as much as I'm fearful of Liverpool and what you lot could do, I think there's logical reasons to be fearful of us. I think we should be respectful 100%. To you lot, but also go out there. And the midfield would be interesting. I said it on my live stream. Obviously, I need the whole team. But based on, you know, Salah, Trent, all of your attackers, Zinchenko, Gabriel pulling out into that channel, Kai Havertz defensively and making fouls, Martinelli helping out Zinchenko, and I don't know if I said Jesus and Odegaard, them names in particular, you don't need to have a good game because we will lose battles, but we need to win the war. Of course, there's going to be moments we're under pressure. We're going to see if Raya's a good goalie. Salah's going to be banging on the door. Your fans are going to be moving mad. But I do think it'd be an interesting kind of matchup. So it's interesting. You mentioned the Joe Gomez shout. And like you said with Trent, there's naturally, when both teams are attacking, obviously the way teams are structured, there's going to be, holes isn't the right word, but it's like a byproduct because of the way you're playing, really. And I think both teams can cut them open. That's where I'm looking at the second half. In recent, we've started fast, and I think we need to at Anfield. I don't buy into the Anfield hype in the sense of Arsenal. I think you got to be respectful. I know they make bare noise. We all know what Anfield's about. Klopp's actually been going mad about it. But for me, I know it's not the same, but you've gone to Newcastle where the atmosphere is, you know, it's one of the stadiums like with you lot. They will say that's one of them. We didn't lose that game because of the fans. We didn't lose against Aston Villa because of the fans. So in isolation, like, you're just playing in Liverpool. Yeah, it's Liverpool, it's Anfield and blah, blah, blah. But it's just a game in a stadium. Keep doing what you've done before. Be respectful when you go into someone's house, but take your opportunities. And obviously,
you know
the
what,
game last year,
the caveat on what you just said, though, one thing I've noticed about Arsenal, yes, you lost against Newcastle because of unjust decision. Yes, you lost against Villa.
You didn't create no damn chances in that game, but you're bang on, man.
Yeah, chances are similar to the Villa game as well. I thought you were quite somewhat decent, but again,
got to put the ball in the back of the net, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Got to put the ball in the back of the net.
Last year, my guy. When we went 2 goals up, Liverpool is a team you've got to kill. Every team for that matter, but Liverpool's a team you've got to kill. Like, there's no point punching you up, leaving you with breath. You need to stop you to your breathing. And when there's a bit of hope, you're gonna get back in it. I think that's one thing we've kind of learned from you lot as well, that we don't give up to the end. But
that's my caveat for you lot. You mentioned Newcastle and Aston Villa, and I'd say they're two out of the top away teams that you traveled to, but you've lost both games. Now, you lot have been good this season, but isn't that a bit of a worry? You're going to another top 10 side and you've not registered. Then again, this could be the first, you know what I mean? But this season, you've gone to top 10 sides away, the teams you have gone away, and you haven't really, albeit whatever reason, you've not won. So that could be a worry for your fans as well.
Yeah, no, it is a worry. You're bang on the money, man, because, you know, our season's been ticking
Chelsea along. Chelsea as well. We know how
I'm just about to say that. That's my issue with Arsenal. It's like, it's a bit weird. Like, last year was probably more professional. Games were a bit more in a positive way, boring away from home. Our performances generally were a bit better. It was at home that, you know, our game at the Emirates, where we're taking the lead, there's a bit of nerves, and then there's quote unquote late winners and things like that. You're bang on the money, because we shot ourselves in the foot against Chelsea. We showed courage, a bit like you lot, to get back in it, but we shot ourselves in the foot. Villa, end of the day, didn't put the ball in the back of the net, in it. Like, I think the performance was there, but performance or results if you're going for a league. Newcastle, we couldn't create, let alone convert chances. So you're bang on the money. It's been away from home. Even, I know football, it's a crazy one, and, you know, 3-4 games across the season, there's going to be games where you're not at it, last minute winner, blah, blah, blah. But then you throw in the last minute winner against Brentford and obviously Luton. I think you're bang on the money, and that is a concern, really. I don't know why it is. I don't think it's necessarily because of the atmosphere. I don't know if we're starting games where it's like we're going through the motions. And even in the Chelsea game, we were good 77 minutes onwards. It's not good enough in the Premier League. You need to start well. As I said, there's going to be times where obviously Liverpool are going to be on top of us. We're going to be struggling to breathe, more or less. That happens. But we need to have more consistency across 90 minutes. Our game last year at the Emirates at Anfield is the best example. For about 28 minutes, superb. Did not get the killer blow. As you know, football's decided in both boxes. We didn't defend well enough for the goal, and we're lucky Salah missed, and Ramsdale had a top game. But when we had the chance to get the third or the fourth, we didn't do it. A bit like the thingy game, the Spurs game, where obviously Jorginho's made that mistake. The whole team is switched off at home for the first goal. But other than that, we've allowed teams to get back in it, and we need to learn from ourselves, because there's been times, you know, Man United, Brentford, Luton, actually Chelsea as well, to a degree, Fulham, even though they got the last minute equalizer, teams haven't killed us, and we've somehow got back in it. That can't happen at Liverpool. You need to kind of be perfect. And for me, I'm not good. Gone.
Do you know it? No, sorry. Carry on your point.
No, for me, I'm not going to. I was kind of going off topic in that there's a lot of talk about, would this be a statement win and all of that. I believe yes, because, you know, we get our asses handed to us, pause at Anfield week in, week out. It'd be nice to beat Liverpool and City in one season. I'm like, all right, cool, you've arrived. But at the same time, it's nothing, because in general, not to negate that, because some of these players have been part of that. There's no point beating Liverpool if against West Ham you mess up, and we're still in December. So I don't want my players, for me, obviously you've got to play the occasion, you've got to relish the occasion. You're playing at Anfield, it's a big game, it's a privileged position, it's a long way from where we used to be. But just focus on the game of football, bro. They bleed just like us. They're a football team just like us. They've won, lost, and drawn games just like us. We know Klopp is going to demand the performance, because for me, I think there was an air of complacency with you lot with Liverpool against United. And I think, like, you lot up here, United are there. Sometimes in football, you drop to the other team's level. We're up here, Liverpool up here. You're going to have to rise. And Klopp, I think he's on mind games, because you was at the game. I don't know for atmosphere and things like that, but he seemed like he was doing the pep thing. I need you lot to be angry and things. I don't blame him. Fine margins and whatnot.
You know what it is? Before I get into the atmosphere on the West Ham game, right? I quickly want to mention a point that you mentioned when you're saying late winners recently, your Lutons, your Brentfords, even us. Fulham and your Palace. I was at the Palace game as well, and I said to the guy next to me, if Ayew didn't get sent off, before Ayew got sent off, I was like, this could be an L, you know. The minute Ayew got sent
VAR
off,
decisions, I've never heard that before. Fair enough, man.
Come on, you know we're the golden team. You know that we're the media darlings. But once he got sent off, I know what my team's like. So Liverpool and Arsenal this season are very similar. Even when you look at goals conceded, I think it's still the same amount, right? We have that siege mentality, as you lot do. So the minute Ayew got sent off, I said, you know what, we'll win this game now. And that was still 20 odd minutes to go. But there's a stat, and I feel like I've known you quite a long time now. I feel like you might agree on this stat. Liverpool and Arsenal are up there in the metrics of the most goals scored after 75 minutes plus. And some fans lap that up. That's not a stat you should be proud of. For me, especially in this festive period, bro, I know not every game you're going to blitz teams. That's not how football goes. But majority of games, you want to be 2-3-0 up by the 70th minute, then take your big hitters off, give them rest. Especially you lot we're not in Champions League this year, but especially you lot in Champions League.
Cool.
Listen, we're not in there. Listen, we're taking a year off. We'll be back
playing
there.
Union, SL, and them teams there. Them crazy SC Duns and that. It's crazy.
Crazy, bro. Some teams I can't even pronounce. But both of us still have midweek Europe competition. And in this festive period, games are every 3 days. This is where muscle injuries start to build up.
Squad, yeah.
I don't like that stat we're winning games late all the time. No, sometimes you have to, but the fact Liverpool and Arsenal are both in that metric, that's not a stat I was happy with. I see the Premier League official account tweeted it the other week. I see fans lapping up. It's like, nah, man, this ain't something you should be proud of. Yes, siege mentality. Yes, it showed you go to the end. But you rather kill games off early to take your big hitters off. That's the way I see that one.
You're bang on the money, bro. You're bang on the money because, like, obviously, sometimes football goes left. I always say get the result first. If you come back from behind and you win and it's dramatic, obviously we lap that up. I was happy about obviously a point at Liverpool last year. I was happy about coming back in the Chelsea game. Obviously, the late minute winners against Brentford, Luton, United, probably someone else that I'm missing out. It excites me. And I do think in isolation, you need that. Sometimes things go wrong across a 38 game calendar, 4 or 5 games a season. That happens. Football is weird, like you said, football isn't one on paper. That's the beautiful thing about it. But I agree with you, and you're bang on the money in the sense of it's a bit too dramatic. That's not what you want. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Jurgen Klopp, Arteta, any manager wouldn't want that to become a consistent stat because that means a theme that you're not starting games well or you're playing well and doing things that are going to harm you. And I know City are struggling, but in this day and age in the Premier League, you need to be looking at 90 points and near enough perfection if you're going to pip City to that. So that is something I want to get rid of. And I actually feel, I think Arsenal and Liverpool are up there for defensive stats, 2 good defensive sides based on that. But I do think the managers won't necessarily be happy with how both teams are defending necessarily, if I'm completely honest, because the game could have went left. I think if I look at Arsenal's progress and our projection, we're doing well. I've got nothing but praise. If I remove that projection stuff of when Arteta walked into now and I look at Premier League winners, I think, I have to be a bit harsher. We beat Brighton 2-0 and it was one-way traffic. They should have been killed in the first half. The same said for that 5-0 victory against Sheffield United and definitely against Wolves. I think it ended up being 2-1 or something like that, but we should have killed games. And that is something that's still obviously here from what ultimately affected us in the game against you, man, really, last year. So you're bang on the money with that, man. Would you make a Klopp's atmosphere comments? All right, go on.
Yeah. I was literally going to say it. Just on the atmosphere comments, right? Do you know what's mad? I was in the main stand. So when he was saying, the stand behind me, we had a chance and they're not getting up for it, right? Me and a couple guys I was with, we're trying to sing in that. And we're people looking at us like we're madmen. It's like, this is what football's about. And you know what? One thing I'll say, big up, listen, like Liverpool, Arsenal. Liverpool and Arsenal are global institutions. So we're going to have people traveling from all over that come. And big up, but I do feel like global fans should sometimes try and tap into the culture, learn the songs, join. Because, you listen, I'm not against taking pictures and that. It's your doubt. You're not here often. You live in a whole other country, but try and contribute to the songs and stuff. Because when Klopp said the atmosphere was bad, for me, one, it's a psychological thing. He's saying that to rev us up for Arsenal, number one. And I think you know that as well. But number two, it weren't the Klopp and our new Anfield Road stand that got expanded. Them 2 stands were singing. He mainly meant the one behind. That's why I want to add the context, because if we weren't singing and the ones that were, like myself and my couple other guys, we were getting looked at. We were madmen. We still carried on singing, but that's what he means. That after chances, try to rev us up. And against Arsenal, you're top of the table for a reason. We have to raise it. And you know that saying, the 12th man. We actually need the 12th man because that's what got us a draw last season. Remember, it was the challenge on Xhaka and Trent. Anfield erupted. I think the year before that, it was 0-0. Arteta and Klopp have a bust up. We then win 4-0. Do you know what I mean? So with Anfield, especially against you lot, we always need our crowd, bro. But about the atmosphere comments, one is mind games. It's also to get into our players' head and rise it for Arsenal. But 2, he's not literally meaning the whole ground. It was mainly the main stand. That's one thing I'll say. But yeah.
No, man, I think you're bang on the money. And I don't blame Klopp because it's about fine margins. It's a festive game. It's typically a high-scoring game. I think if you go back to the early 2000s, it was more even. Obviously, probably since 2012, 13, specifically at Anfield, it's not been happy for us. I know we've won a couple times in the Cup and that, but specific to the Premier League, it's been brazy. So I don't mind him because he's just telling me, it's like if you're going to a rave, you want all the galley shaking Nash, you want all the drinks, you want the man them looking lit. Like, it makes sense, innit? It's an evening game. It's under the lights. It's Premier League. Obviously, I hope it's boring and Arsenal win, but it's one of those games that are going to be the posters for, as you said, with foreign fans, where if somebody says, what is the Premier League? What's the Premier League about? It's entertainment, innit? Hella goals,
Let me
controversy,
ask you something, bro. Let me ask you something, bro.
Fun.
Do you know if he's been playing "You Never Walk Alone" from the speakers at London Coney this week? Do you know?
Hey, we don't need that now. We changed it. Arteta had the right idea with the wrong pattern, man. It's calm. It's calm. Cedric and them has got there. Big boy Saliba's there. You know, Darwin
You know
Needles
what?
ain't on that.
I read another stat, bro, and they mention it every year. You know, this is the highest scoring fixture in Premier League history.
Exactly.
Deep it. Whenever
That's why I just said there's going to be goals.
Yeah, there's always goals, bro. Always.
Like I remember crazy. It might have been 3-3, but when we had do you remember when we had the goal to wake it? I think Giroud scored. That was a mad game.
Yes,
I don't know why that always sticks out.
And we nicked it last minute. I think it was a Joe Allen.
Yeah. It was an absolute
yeah. You should have won that. Should have won
that game. Do you know what? If we don't win tomorrow, actually, then I don't think we're ending this episode.
There was another 3-3 game. Our first season, this is when we had the quartet of Salah, Mane, Firmino, and Coutinho. We come Emirates in an orange kit. Remember, we went 2-0 up. You come back.
Yeah.
That was 3-3 as well. Yeah, there's been mad games.
That's why I wish it was at the Emirates, man, because Alisson and Van Dijk, they always bottle it, man. I remember Nelson and Lacazette getting on the score sheet, man. We deal with these buddies over
context, bro. The league was wrapped. Up. We were hanging over. We were still drinking now. We coming to the pitch drunk, bro.
Listen, I can only do what's in front of us. We're in the we still are in the trenches, man. So I'm here for this. Do you fear Arsenal?
This season, yes. I ain't gonna come in there. I'm confident. I still think we win the game, but I do because, like I said, I think I've told you, DG, I come from a household of Arsenal fans. My brother, my mum, my sister, bro. When we watch the game,
out if we get 3 points, man.
And bro, forget Twitter and that. I have to deal with literally in-house first, bro. But I do feel this season because, again, after Liverpool, you're probably the team I watched second most due to them being always on, right?
I told you people, black men from London, they love Arsenal. I don't know why they start going United and Liverpool. They lead it. They get led astray, man.
But back to you, man, right? Like, I feel like Arteta, this way I have to give him credit this season. Last season, I feel like he was a bit naive in certain situations. Like you said, you would go 2-3-0 up, and then he'll do something mad, whether it's a tactical decision or whatnot. And you just give the other team life.
To add on that or piggyback off that comment, I think our players as well, that extends to our players or him going through to the players, because it's like many a times last season, you know, even to a degree, you lot, West Ham, that kind of period, it's like we've clearly prepared for something all week. We start the game well, house on fire, the other team's done, like we'll score 2 goals and it's like, job is done now. We can kind of sit off, and you can't do that. That's one thing. Obviously, when I look at City, everyone wants to be like them for all reasons. They're the guide points. But when I look at Liverpool, it's the mentality at home. It's refusing to die. And more than anything, maybe not so much this season, because you kind of said, you know, the front three excluding Salah aren't doing it, but it's ruthless. Historically, you get 1, you get 2, you get 3.
Yeah.
That's what I think we need to add. And even Jorginho's come out and said that recently.
The thing is back to your Arsenal comments, yeah. One thing I've clocked this season, like I said, I think last season more naive. This season, he's got so much more tactical now. So that there's games where you could be under the cosh, and I've just seen your back five just be resolute. And that's what worries me. That's what worries me about tomorrow, bro. Because let's say Arsenal get the first goal, or you get put it like this. Let me say it point blank. If you go 2-0 up this year, I don't think you're losing the game. So you didn't even lose. I don't think you're drawing the game. I think if you also go 2-0 up, I think Arsenal probably get their first win, because I look at this trio of Gabriel, Saliba, and Declan Rice, and I think
coach triangle, man. Shabazz, like, be careful. Them man to come back, you know. Don't bring them babies like Harvey Elliott and Jones and them shit academy brothers round it. It's peak.
No, I'll be real. I don't think the majority of them will start. But bro, that trio, big up Cams. I think Coach Cam said it, tweeted it a couple months ago. That if you look at title winning teams, bro, I think Chelsea had Carvalho, Terry, and Cech. We had Matip, Van Dijk, and Alisson in our year. You lot have had like Petit Job. You lot have had Campbell. You would have a Campbell. Who was your other centre back with Campbell? I'm trying to think from Invincible stage, bro. Yeah, Torre, Campbell, and Lehman in goal. Like United would have Vidgets, Ferdinand, Van der Sar. You get the gist.
Don't forget to mention Patrick Vieira. I'm hearing bare midfielders get held up, bro.
No, I mainly mean like the
back five,
keepers, back five, and then the DMs. Sorry, like the quartet. Yeah. I just feel like this year with Arsenal, you have the personnel now to go ahead and just get the result. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's ugly, whether it's a nice win, that quartet sorry, not Kawhi, because I don't. Raya and Ramsdale I rate, but not like you've had better keepers in the past. I think even I think even there's a minority of Arsenal fans that still think you can upgrade on that position.
Yeah,
I
I don't
rate
think.
them.
Sorry to cut you,
You know
but
what I mean?
that would be so. That's where I kind of, I'm not riot out and things. I like what you do with your passing and distribution. I like your calmness, which I actually think we need at Anfield. But I've not been moved yet. When a keeper's been asked to do something traditional, I haven't seen the Brentford Raya. I feel sorry for him because he's come into this with the whole Ramsdale and all this nonsense. But you're bang on the money, and that's what kind of scares me as well with your point.
Even that Luton game, bro, Arsenal weren't bad. Like that game should have been a comfortable win, but the scoreline.
That's what I mean, to go back to your point. Like for teams,
I wouldn't say defensively, bro. I wouldn't even say defensively. I think
bro,
it was
those 3 goals.
individual.
I'm not having that, man. Those 3 goals.
Raya, bro.
No, Raya has to hold this. Raya has to hold his hands up for at least 2 of them. But even Barkley's goal, Raya's done poor. But as you know in football, your goal is your last line of defense. I'm not absolving him, but I always look at what else has gone wrong before it got to that point. Benjamin White switched off, Saliba, Gabriel switched off, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, and Declan Rice, all from them corners. And we're one of the best teams statistically in both ends for corners. So it's them kind of high standards. I feel at the start of the season, we were very, very good defensively, good in the middle third. And I feel in the final third, we were scoring goals, but it weren't really free flowing. I think since times past, I do think Arteta has found some way of breaking down low blocks, looking good in the final third. I still think we're decent defensively, but I do think them high standards have slightly dropped. If I'm honest, it's a bit weird, and that's what I think it comes down to. As I said, you got to be decisive in both boxes, bro. And we'll get chances. We probably will score. But those, is it 2 or is it 3-4? I don't expect to score 4 against Liverpool, win 4-0. But it's kind of that defensively. If I'm Liverpool, obviously I feel sorry for Zinchenko. We all know his faults and stuff. But logically, you're going to look at the weakness. Who is the one player that you look at and say can be got at? It's Zinchenko defensively. 100%. Or if he goes into midfield, there's issues. If I'm Liverpool and Raya's rocking up and we know the sentiment said around him, let's see what he's like, because I like Raya. But I've not been, when a keeper's been called to do some traditional goalkeeping, I haven't been moved. I wasn't moved against City. I wasn't moved against Spurs. I wasn't moved against
Luton. You mentioned calmness here, but when I've seen Arsenal in the big games against, let's not say top 6, but the big 6, quote unquote, that first 20 minutes at Stamford Bridge, bro, you know he was shaky.
Even that's one of the worst. Ask my fans. I get into a lot of issues. I say the West Ham game in the League Cup and those 45 minutes against Chelsea, the first half, some of the worst football I've seen.
Even United, bro. Though. That first 20 minutes, he was moving a bit shaky. Maybe I think he's nearly giving it to Hoyland, and then he had an empty net. Ryan, it's not really a small game. In the bigger games, I feel like he's getting a bit nervous. And listen, there's that saying,
quiet down off the line as well against City. And these things do happen to be fair to Raya, but this is what I'm saying, and you're obviously echoing.
It's just the bigger games, and I think there's that saying. Fergie said it, Mourinho said it, Wenger said it. Anfield's one of them grounds in particular. You have to quiet down the crowd in the first 20 minutes, innit? Some will say the atmosphere's been flat, but I feel like for this game, because we know the incentive's already there. It's Arsenal, and to answer your question, I do fear you. But win this, we go top of the league, irrespective of what Aston Villa do, because there's both of us speaking about 1 or 2. They're probably going to win before that game, and they'll most likely go top. Obviously not 100% guaranteed, but the incentive's there. Win this game, go top of the league. We're at home, like as good as you lot are, and I do feel. I think you man have been good this season. I rate Arsenal a lot, but this is Anfield, and I know that saying might be cliche, but this is Anfield, and I back us against. No, the difference with them man have been in the mud for the past 10 years, though, bro. We're not like them. Do you know what I mean? But I do feel I back us against anyone when they come to Anfield. Do you know what I mean? So it'll be tough. I respect Arsenal. Top of the league for a reason. And now, would you even agree? I spoke about my front line, even your front line to a certain extent. But the thing is, there's caveat and a silver lining, because I don't think your front three has been as scintillating as last season, but then your goals are more spread, similar to us. Our midfield and our defense have been winning us games. So what do you actually think of that, bro? Because your front, I think you might agree, your front three hasn't been as good as last season. Like I said, the goals are more spread now.
We're finally starting to get to see them consistently. Obviously, Saka's been ever present. Martinelli to a degree as well. He's come out the side on occasion. Jesus has had injuries. I like them. They can put pressure. Jesus loves scoring. He doesn't score many, but he loves to score against Liverpool. If you score, great, but it's the performance, because Gabriel Jesus puts in a defensive shift. Martinelli's going to have to do the same.
You know Havertz's record against us for Chelsea is
But,
good as well. You know,
find the back of the net. Sorry, Kai Havertz. This has been the best period you've had as an Arsenal player.
Yeah.
Find something, and even you defensively. I need those tactical fouls, the transitions. Naturally, if you look go forward, you're going to be on the back foot defensively, and vice versa.
Yeah.
That's why at the start when I mentioned Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard, Gabriel Jesus, Martinelli, I'm going to need you lot. Like it's a team performance. To a degree, it will be a good game for the neutrals, but I think it's an ugly one. I don't really think it'll be a game where there's going to be dribbling stats about Saka and Martinelli and waxing lyrical. These are the games you just have to muck in. So I agree with you. The problem
you mentioned
is,
it earlier. You mentioned it earlier. I think it'll be cagey at first. I think second half, bro, basketball match. I can see it. I think by half time, I think the first half will be very cagey. You'll get people saying this game's a bit boring. I think it's literally going to be a tale of two halves, bro. I think second half is going to be what you're accustomed to, Liverpool and Arsenal, just gung-ho, end-to-end. That's what I think you're going to see, I don't think it'll be ugly all game and cagey all game and respectful all game, because I think, especially, there will be goals in this game. Like
9
we said,
different 10-minute battles. I always say in games like this, man. Like every 10 minutes, different things going on, and that's what I said at the start. Where naturally, I would love to go out there, blitz you lot. You lot are not on nothing. Everything's there. But in a boxing match, sometimes you need to box smart, innit? You can't always knock out your opponent. Sometimes you're gonna have to take hits, bob and weave, and survive. That's why even someone like Zinchenko against Salah, you're going to lose your battles, win the war, innit? He's gonna go past you, skip past you every day of the week, sit you on your ass. As long as it doesn't lead to a goal scoring action, that's cool, really and truly, because that means we can get something. And obviously,
can I chime in on that though, bro?
Go on.
Salah isn't as explosive. We're coming of age, you know what I mean? He's not as explosive. No, this is what I mean. This is what I mean. Zinni shouldn't be worried about Salah skipping past him on the outside. He needs to be worried about Salah on the inside. This is one thing I'll say about Salah the last 18 months. Not only is goal speak for itself, he's become more of a facilitator now as well. He's assisting more. Him coming inside, playing it to Nunes, Gakpo, etc. That's Zinchenko needs to worry about him on the inside more than the outside. That's one thing I'll say. That is one thing I'll say.
You're right, but this is the thing with Zinni, like at 26 years of age, obviously you can improve. I look at Tomiyasu. He's never going to be the most glamorous attacking fullback there's ever been, but I've seen an improvement in his game and a more confidence there.
He looked up Salah last year.
Exactly. But that's because he thinks as a natural midfielder. When you hear the way Arteta speaks about Zinchenko, they say, "Oh, she put him in midfield. He plays there anyways." When he talks about Tomiyasu, a defender's first job is to defend. So for me, Zinchenko, I like you. You have changed our system. Obviously, the better we get, we need players that are stronger 1v1. But you're never good. And as I said, you've played enough games as a defender to know to switch on. But you know yourself with football. My man just found himself playing at left back to get game time at City. He's a 10 and an 8 by trade. That's why they bought him. He still thinks like that. That's why you do the inverted thing. As long as the pros outweigh the cons, and that's my issue. It don't matter if Salah is moving inside or outside. Zinchenko needs to think like a defender. I mentioned West Ham earlier. Like, obviously, even Zinchenko did a madness that went unpunished against Brentford. I know he's had some terrible games, but I always look at the West Ham game in the League Cup, because obviously he was cut open by, I think the second goal could have scored, or the second West Ham goal. Lovely ball over the top. It killed Zinchenko, and fans were getting onto him. And I was saying, yeah, you've got to be switched on. But the ball's killed him. But where he could have done better is expect that, think like a defender. I go back to the goal before that. I think
anticipate it before it happens.
This is it. And I think the first goal before the corner, I think their first goal was from a corner, but in the build-up to the corner, Zinchenko's done a madness and Gabriel saved him. And you can see Gabriel shouting and begging him, like, pattern up, really and truly. These are the things I'm not expecting Zinchenko to change. I just want you to put in a performance. Why would I not want you to play well? I know they're going to skip past you. I know, like I said, you're lunch meat. There isn't too many, per se, weak areas of a strong Arsenal 11. Zinchenko naturally is someone you're going to get at. He's going to invert in their space that could be exploited. If you lock him down on the ball and all his quality, he ain't bringing nothing. If you ask him to defend, there's issues, and naturally you're gonna pull our team apart. Gabriel in our build-up play and in general is gonna have to cover that kind of left-hand side and come over, and that's where you said, with Salah maybe being a bit more central, or Szoboszlai making those runs. That's where the issue is. That's where communication is key, and that's where my defense, I need you to stand up to. Declan Rice, it goes without saying, but this is where, regardless of the result, I want to come out of it and say, you know what, Raya, hell you up in it, because if you can't come out at Anfield, I'm not saying you have to keep a clean sheet, but I need to see my keeper, because I know there's going to be times where shots are happening, posts are being hit, we're under the cosh. This is where I need to see it, because that's the one thing I give Ramsdale for all his mistakes, and even probably mistakes he's made against
saved Liverpool. You last season in this very
games, it's excitement. Like that's Ramsdale in his bag, where Ramsdale has to be kind of like the keeper's not really seeing, he gets into it with the fans. That's where he starts switching off. That's what I want to see from Raya. But that's where I know Raya's probably
saying he can't concentrate the whole night, innit?
Bro, he said he can't concentrate. Jesus said his goals ain't a strong point. Zinchenko said I don't really like to defend or something like that. We're all madness with some of our players. I'm taking a lot of it out of context that they said, but yeah, of course, like for me, I don't think fear is a bad thing. Fear tells me you respect someone. If you don't fear anyone or anything in life, that's when you get smacked up or something happens to you. Liverpool have been there, done it. You're not there now, but you've been in the territories in terms of winning champs and prems that we'd want to do. You've got quality all around the side. I do want to see us get at your midfield though, because I think McAllister's quality, I think Szoboszlai's quality, but as you said, it's a new look midfield. I would say ours is probably gelled a bit better historically at this moment in time in the season, with obviously Declan Odegaard and definitely with Kai Havertz finding his form. I think midfield's crucial, and it'll be interesting because, as I said, Trent, whether he's going to be inverting if he plays right back, Zinni the same, Jesus is going to drop. Both teams play a high line. I do think it'll be quite condensed and quite congested, but the transitions, I do think it'll be a thing where both teams just need 30 seconds where somebody switched off, and then whether the other team scores or concedes, that is another thing, man. What would you say is the key battles over the pitch then for both teams?
Like you said, I know it's cliche, but I think midfield first, because obviously McAllister's out. Gravenberch picked up a niggle in of our Europa League. Don't do that. He's been one of our better players.
I don't know the man.
Right, listen, Ryan Gravenberch. You see a City.
I can't lie, he's a baller, but the minute he signed for Liverpool, I don't know you. But that's the you that went by and he didn't bang in it. Oh.
Yeah. But
they're playing young G's like Musiala and that. Why didn't he make it over
listen, that's the same you that skipped past Rodri. He played it to Trent, and we got a win. We got a draw there.
Like, you know what I mean? Skipping past Rodri. I don't think Villa were doing that. Like, what's going on there? Like, Gravenberch.
But listen, Gravenberch.
He's a baller.
Me personally, I want him. It's a niggle. Like our assistant manager Pep Lindner come out and said he'll be back for Arsenal because he's out against United. He'll be back for Arsenal, but with that information, you probably don't start. You probably don't chuck him into that midfield against Rice, Havertz and Odegaard. But for me, it's the midfield battle because again, we don't have a competent DM. Yes, Endo's coming to form, bro, but different horses for courses, bro. This is Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? And in our better games, he's been hooked. Crystal Palace, that was like a gauntlet of fire for him. He got hooked. Do you know what I mean? For me, I've always said you can be Marga as an attacker. You've seen your Mahrez's and whatnot because your technical ability speaks for itself. But if you're a midfielder, bro, I feel like, and I feel like you're like me. I like technical borders. I like Brazilians. I like Joga Medina and that. But I feel like in this country, especially,
you need some
pace and power, bro. You need
the only way if it's a small man pause, it's a Kante thing or something like that. Like,
yeah, when you're rough and right.
Like he's been jugging his whole life, man, carrying water for day and that, like them guys there. You need. Like,
bro,
right.
you know what I mean? They've grew up in it where there's a baller I rate, Fabio Carvalho, that's in Germany and can't get a game now. Come on, bro.
Right. You said he went on loan, he can't get a game.
Yeah, bro. He's not playing for Leipzig. But you know, one of the reasons we were playing in midfield, but he's Marga, bro. He's Marga. He's lightweight. He gets bounced off the ball. And that's like Endo. Yes, I'm going to give Endo his juice. He's played well he's played well in our last couple games. I give him credit. But for me, he's still not good enough. And I feel like
he should be the second. He should be like you lot's El Nene by the sound of what you're saying.
That's the thing. That's the thing, bro. If he eventually fails, we paid a low fee for him. He come in as the Milner replacement. He's 30 plus. That's why I won't be too disheartened if he don't do well because the expectation weren't really there.
His signing was because you couldn't get the Lavias, the Caicedos.
Exactly, and it was kind of a panic, bro. And that's the thing. The Gravenberch signing I was happy with, but us as Liverpool fans would have rather another DM. That's why we tried to put in the world record bid, like you said, for Caicedo. That's why we were chasing Lavia. So the midfield battle's key for me, I think. What worries me is Rice, Odegaard, Havertz, and on the transition. So once we've attacked and the turnover, him by himself, bro. And then you got Konate, which, listen, my fan base hate me for this, DD, but I'm not his biggest fan. I feel like his intelligence.
Tell him come Emirates. He's lit, man.
The thing is, you know, aesthetically, he's quite pleasing.
His concentration's a bit spooky at times.
So that's what I mean. So, bro, again, listen, you lot have scored the most goals coming like Sean Dyche and flipping Luton, but you man have scored the most goals from set pieces, yeah? What Konate does, he commits when he doesn't have to. He makes needless fouls, bro, and he leaves space in behind. You don't want Martinelli, Saka, and Jesus running in behind you. There's times he doesn't need to commit. Listen, actually, I maybe used the wrong choice of words. For me, I feel like our fan base overrate him. That overrate don't mean bad. This is what people get twisted. Overrated doesn't mean bad.
Right. He's not like Saliba. I'll give you that.
Bro, I was arguing with my fan base last summer, bro. I said Saliba's clear him. They're like, no, but Saliba ain't won this and that. Saliba's not playing the Champions League final. Do you know what it is as well? They say DG, but who starts for France? But that's based on preference, bro. We saw Benzema not in the France team. Yes, it was politics and whatnot. He was still France's best number 9. Just because he weren't in the team, you're going to say, oh, Giroud's better than him because he starts for France.
I think Saliba's issue is, if I'm honest, with the France thing, I think Saliba's issue is obviously you're out of the Arsenal system, and I've seen you play on the left hand. Yeah, the left-hand side of the centre-back pairing. For Saliba to really be world-class in that, I think you've got to be a bit like Van Dijk, where it don't matter if you play for Holland or Liverpool or whatever, your level's in it. But you know how football is. All of these players relatively are young. Everyone gasses it and does too much, man. I think Konate is able to. That's one thing he can do. He can kind of play on the left and the right.
For me, back to the battles, right? It's fullback and midfield. I think midfield is it's probably going to be Endo, Jones, and Szoboszlai, right? And again, Szoboszlai recently come under a lot of criticism. You know what I mean? You man are saying Havertz over him, but before Brentford, you man wanted this guy.
I don't know who Szoboszlai is. Like, I just know Declan Rice was decided in the summer midfield. I don't know who Szoboszlai is.
Szoboszlai has been defensively good all this season, but brother, that's not what we brought you in for. Like, we need this is where GA counts. We need your GA to come back up a bit more. Cool, he scored a good goal against West Ham, but them numbers in the league.
Don't let him shoot from outside the area.
Word. They need to start rising, bro. I think that goal against West Ham is done a lot for his confidence. And you know what would be so sweet? The way, not you necessarily personally, but the way your fan base have been speaking about him. If he gets a winner against you lot, if he gets a winner, I would have been
honestly, the most annoying man that could get the winner would be Harvey Elliott. I like him as a footballer, but like when we play against him, there's just something so dislikable.
The shithousery.
Yeah, like he's one of them. Like when he plays for your team, you love him. Him in a nice way. You know what he's
like. He's like your Bruno Fernandes is your
he's like Bruno Fernandes. He's a cunt.
Yeah, your Jamie Vardy's like, give it to the wave back. You know what I mean? Like, they get into them. But for me, we've touched on it earlier this stream as well. The other key battle is fullbacks, because Trent probably will start right back. Even though me personally, I'll start Gomez. Klopp's going to chart Trent. You already know the nightmares, Martin. Trent won't get much sleep tonight.
I hope he puts Gomez left back for no reason and Trent right back, man. I hope Klopp does something big.
No, Tsimikas will stay left back. He's been playing well. I think Tsimikas will stay there. But for me, it's the fullbacks. Saka Martinelli versus Tsimikas and Trent. I'm not that confident, bro. I'll be real. But then the other way, like you said,
attackers versus our fullbacks.
And that's what I'm saying. So for me, it's the midfield and the fullbacks. I think maybe the fullbacks is probably the main battles. I would even overlook the midfield and say it's the fullbacks, because I think, again, for me, Luis Diaz, bro, Partey done him at the Emirates last season. He plays with too much apprehension now. Like the Luis Diaz we knew when he first came to Liverpool, being his man all the time, getting past his man. Now, bro, he's cutting inside all the time, and you can tell. You remember Eduardo for you, man, when he was cold before the injury? I know his injury was a bit more severe, the leg break, but he never come back the same player. And we've seen it many times. Me personally, I think Luis Diaz is done, bro. But I still feel if he gets space, he could hurt. Who's your right back? Ben White. Because even Ben White sometimes he gets pulled out of position. I rate Ben White highly, by the way, but I think Diaz will start on that left. Even I want to start Nunes on the left. Me personally, again, I want to start Nunes on that left, because he started there against West Ham, Gakpo in the middle, and it was causing problems.
He scares me because he's so, like, the thing with Nunes, he's so banduli. Like, I like him.
Unpredictable.
Like, I think it's not that you're so unpredictable. It's like sometimes I think you're crap, then I think you're good. But even if I call you crap, then you're the sort of crapness I like. Like, there's something I like about Darwin Nunes.
You know what it is with Nunes?
He's random.
He's one of them off the cuff players, as in, I don't even think he knows what he's about to do.
Yeah,
you know
what I mean? On madness. Like, you're just
how
on
can
madness.
How can the defender know if you don't even know? That's what I mean. So I think
there's something rawness about how he plays. Like, I don't know. He couldn't have been in an academy, man. It just don't make no sense. Like, you don't look pretty like Uruguayan players, but you've got that Uruguayan heart. And I think that's why maybe some Liverpool fans kind of allow him, because
that's a South American thing, bro. You know, that tenacity and that they're just
it's a match made in heaven.
No, but I would say even in general, bro, like most South Americans, they got that tenacity, bro. They don't care, never say die attitude. But like you're saying, a weakness, I think Salah versus Zinchenko, and whether it will be Diaz or Nunes, one of them up against Ben White, and then you lot, Martinelli and Saka versus Tsimikas and Trent. I think fullbacks is when either team will get success, and then the midfield as well. But I'm backing Szoboszlai, Endo, and that to put. Listen, your midfield's better. I'm not gonna lie. Like your midfield against us is. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Your midfield is better in it, but listen, different horses for different courses. Some games bring out certain things in different players. Hopefully this is the game where they're like, you know what, we're showing up. Yes, they might be better than us individually, man for man, in that midfield department, but let's show them this is our patch. Do you know what I mean? So hopefully our players rise to rise to the occasion, bro. But that's where I think the weaknesses and strengths
I
are.
think it's our back line, really. Obviously, I agree with you. We've touched on it, like midfield and the individual battles and stuff. I think it's a couple of members of the back line because I'm going to go over the same things. But Zinchenko is food. I like Benjamin White. He's susceptible to going to like lapses in concentration. I'm very confident about Gabriel and Saliba, but naturally, as I said, Gabriel's going to have his work cut out in the channels. Saliba's going to have to work Benjamin White, so you're going to pull them apart. And when you add into that, I'm not saying I don't rate Raya and whatnot, but I haven't, you haven't earned that credit for me to be like how you lot feel with Alisson. Like, even if he makes a mistake, you've done it for years for us, mate.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm at. With the attackers, it's a case of, I know we will get chances. I know regardless of the result, I know there'll be things I like. But these are games where it's just about being clinical, bro. Like, I don't care if we fashion 10 chances and scream about, oh, yeah, you know what, if we scored, it would have been a different game. Yeah, 9 times out of 10. This is the one game it needs to count. The ball has to go into the back of the net. I hope we can take advantage of set pieces as well, because that seems to be something we're doing and we've got height. But I just think it's about shape. But naturally, I think both teams' shape is going to be all out the place because of what the demands of individual players are. What would be to wrap this up then? Like, score prediction then?
Said it all week and I'm sticking by it. 3-2. I think we beat you 3-2. I think we'll be, like I said, I think up until halftime it might be a 1-1. Quite cagey, both teams respecting each other. But I feel like there'll be an early goal in the second half. But I don't know who for either team. And then that will make it gung-ho, basketball-esque, end-to-end action. But I think I back us. We're at home. I think we edge it 3-2, bro. I think,
you know what? I'm tired of losing at Anfield. I somewhat don't believe this, but I'm trying to talk it into existence. I'm saying 4-3 Declan Rice winner, man. Fuck it, man. Like, fuck it. I'm actually tired of losing to you lot in the league, man. Like, it's not nice. I do think if we lose, gone.
I know we have an L. Like, I know we both begin with L like Luton, but we're not Luton. Do you get? Like, we're not Luton.
No, do you know what it is? Like, I just want to stop losing to you, man. Like, if we win, I don't want to get excited, and I think if we lose, I don't think it will be a calamitous L like, Jota twisting up, man. Firmino, no-look passes. Salah and Mane just like boys against men, really and truly. I don't think it will be like that. But fundamentally, we lost. And for me, it would be more, it would show these players that have been here and actually the manager, really, because you've played Liverpool a few times at Anfield now and you ain't won. You can get over that mental block. They bleed just like us. I still wouldn't count my chickens, but for as much as I can criticize the Spurs, the Chelsea, this game, that game, if you get something at Anfield, you don't, obviously, if you draw, I'll have that. But if you get a win, beat City, which we've done, United's nothing to brag about, but historical top 6 side, that will tell me it can be done, innit? And this is where I want to see it, because obviously we've got some difficult grounds. For us, Old Trafford, we don't win there too much. A bit like at Anfield. Still got to go Etihad, still got to go Brighton. And there's probably some teams that are missing out. It sounds cliche, but every game is difficult in the Premier League, especially away from home. We got Palace out the way, thank God, as well. That, St. Mary's, Southampton been relegated, so that's not a thing. So it will just show me that we can arrest things. And again, these games do go either way. But for me, it's more how it happens. And if we give our best, I can't really criticize. Salah does some magic, dances past 3-4 players. What can you say? That you can hold your hands up. If it's we're switching off, people are not rising to the occasion. Set pieces, David Raya making a mistake. And I'm not just saying him. I'm just painting examples. Zinchenko being out of position. These are the things I can't have, because I know it's difficult to stay concentrated for 90 minutes. But this is the realm you man wanted to be in, really. And truly. So
facts. Do you know what it is, bro? I think you're bang on the money as well. It's like you can lose, but it's the manner in which you lose. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, if we was to batter you and that, which I don't think will happen, that's when I think there will be outrage and it will be a calamitous loss, and then your fans might lose. Because football fans are quite fickle. Bro, you're either here or you're here, bro. You're either one end of the spectrum or the other. But let's say it's a 2-1 win to us. We score last minute, but you man's giving your all. You shut up shop for most of the game.
It's gonna be you're gonna be gutted, innit? But that's what I mean. I could say, all right, Anfield, but I can kind of, all that matters is a stat. We've lost it. The negative stuff keeps going. We've lost a 6-pointer, but I could hold that if we are to lose.
One thing I'll say though. You predict a win for your club. I predict a win for my club. But I do feel there won't be a draw. I think there is a winner in this game. I feel like there won't be another draw like last season. Obviously, it can happen, but I think either side take this one. Honestly, I can't see a draw in this game tomorrow.
We're going to have to wait and see, man. Let people know they can find you if I let you get out of it. I know you got a stream in about 7 minutes.
Yeah, no, love for that. As always, love for having me on, bro. You're my guy. You know this, bro. But Big Six Bants, the main channel I'm on, my boy Monts. There's a lot of even Arsenal fans on that channel, so I know
go terrorize them.
DJ has a big Arsenal community, so you've got Casey and Kiz on there that are Arsenal, but I'm on Big Six Fan and Never a Foul, Kaz Daps channel and whatnot. You'll see me there. They're the main two channels I'm on, and just you can follow my social handles, Ramel Andre, but the L is a 1. Yeah, it's Talk Football, Boxing. I'm a big box fan as well, so you can hit me up on there. But yeah, man, love for having me. That's where you can find me, bro.
Calm mind, man. All his information will be in the description. People have a butchers of Football Terrace, big football. Yeah, no, Never a Foul. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else.
Actually, you know what? Big up Terrace as well. I'm on Terrace often as well.
That's where when I think of you, I think that. But yeah, he's on the Football Terrace. Never a Foul. Big Six Bands. Go hit them up, support the team, people. Follow his socials, especially if you do up boxing. And may the best team win, man. And never forget, people. Declan Rice is better than they've got, man. But yeah, one love. Timicas could never do this.
Get this right back, Charlie.
Make sure that these lot at Anfield get smacked.
There's always just that active and that defending. I think it's like